that's been really frustrating to me is I have been doing acting since I was 7 too, and those worlds are not the same, right? So when I first came here, I wasn't allowed to say that like I liked doing acting if I wanted to do any kind of stunts. And I wasn't allowed to say I loved, stunts if I wanted to do any kind of acting. So it was bizarre having to keep those things separate. So I focus more on fighting and weaponry since I've been doing that since I was a kid. So in stunts, I'm likely to say no to some jobs if they're not the type that I like. So I won't work a lot of kinds of stunt things. I enjoy choosing what makes me happy. Like, I think I read an article, I forget what the news source was, but it said that it gave the exact percentage of loss of film and television jobs over the last year. But they were still like 75, it was only like 25% less or something like that than usual. So there were still a lot of jobs available. Um, and can be very congested and judgmental. So that makes sense. But regardless of whether or not you like something, you still have to do it. It's still part of the job description if you want to be working. There are a lot of really great different, fight styles and dynamics and ways people are filming the action these days. So yeah, I mean, I personally prefer people that are integrating a variety of those things, like not just like the Jason Bourne shaky cam style or not just like the John Wick. So, a lot of the things that we film are based on iconic cinema from decades ago. And it's important to draw inspiration from the OGs and not just modern day content. And getting to showcase that skill from beginning to end versus using quick cuts where the editor who might cut the action of, someone going into a 30 beat fight sequence and cutting after like 2 beats, then showing another angle of another beat and then cutting and showing another angle of another beat. Like that's its own style in and of itself, but you don't really know how skilled the performer is and how many takes they had to do that. And if they really are good at what they're doing and have it dialed in. A lot of that isn't always because the performer is not good. Sometimes the person who's shooting the action and isn't graceful and isn't good with it, and that reads. And sometimes it's not that, but it's the editor's fault. Sometimes the editor doesn't know how to edit action. Like that's a very specific thing in and of itself. And they should be using people that are accustomed to shooting action to edit the action, and even consult the stunt department or have their editor do that because it's so important. I mean, I could be working a lot more if I like to schmooze. Guy, he was like, you need to stop training every day. Like you already know what you're doing. No one needs to train all the time. And he had the mentality of the person you were just referencing. So everyone has their own path and story. And I really don't think there's a wrong way. I do believe that the universe, like in The Alchemist that Paulo Coelho discusses, the universe kind of conspires to like help your dreams come true if you're doing it right. So I don't think that people need to force themselves. I think that people really should just work on being happy internally. The reps in, a lot of it's about repetition, like film videos, show up, you're very out of sight, out of mind. So like post have really great stuff. And there's so much respect that when someone makes a beautiful indie project, everyone kind of sends it around. They're like, you need to sit down and watch this. Like people really do get inspired by each other. It's really beautiful.
Hey everyone, this is Abhi from No-Budget Filmmaking Podcast, and here with me is uh, Talyn.
My name is Talyn Edelson, and I am a stunt performer and action actress living in Malibu, California.
Okay, how did you get into all of this?
I've been doing martial arts and solo and team sports, extreme sports since I was 7 years old, in addition to theater and musical theater since I was seven as well. Essentially, with no breaks in performing in productions until the end of university. And then decided to move out to Hollywood to pursue my childhood dreams after putting my hand in Marilyn Monroe's handprint out here at the Chinese Theater. And deciding that I would move to California as soon as possible and be in the movies.
Yeah, and where was that?
I was actually 15. I was with my family. We were spending a summer in Australia uh, with our friend's family for our father's work conference. So we just had a layover for a few days in Los Angeles and took a little holiday there for the first time.
Oh wow, that's great. And so when exactly you took it like really seriously and started making strides in uh, the career that you chose?
Well, like I said, I've been doing sports and performing as an actress since I was 7 years old. So I've always loved that, the acting and the athleticism performing bits. So I have taken, I've taken it seriously since I was a kid. But as far as moving to Los Angeles, when I was at university, at Oklahoma State University, uh, I actually had my biological father and his dog were killed in a freak accident by a dump truck. And coincidentally, there were several friends that were at Oklahoma State University that had been working with that summer in Houston. And they said, "We're moving to Los Angeles. Come with us if you want." So I just said, fuck it, and caravanned with them to go live my life and pursue my dream, and dropped out of university and then went back a year and a half later to finish my degrees before coming back to Los Angeles again with my
Mm.
acting and a graphic and motion design degree.
Okay. And what was your first work like?
I don't understand the question.
The first, what was your first gig? First professional or even unpaid gig that you worked in LA?
In LA.
Yeah.
I actually got brought on to a film I never saw, helping out with utility stunts. And thankfully, I'm still in contact with the people that I worked on there today. But when I was at university, I went to go train and do some stunt performing work in Los Angeles. Well, I mean, in New Orleans, while I was doing a graphic design internship uh, during university, and met some people there that had film and athletic gyms for stunts that I ended up working with here in LA. So when I came here, they brought me on for a utility stunt contract as my first project uh, on a feature film. And I got to meet some really cool people. I mean, one of them I still see frequently. The other one's like in Hawaii a lot and has a family now, but still see him as well. And they were very influential in me booking fun, wonderful roles and meeting a lot of people in California. And they've worked on huge things like The Mandalorian and the biggest movies in the world.
Mm.
So Jungle Book, Ninja Turtles, fun things. So I feel very thankful for that. Um, but it's funny. There are all these different kinds of firsts, right? You have your first of each kind of performing contract. You have your first television series. You have your first like scale, which means full rate union job on either a TV series or feature film. And there's so many different kinds of contracts, right? And career goals that one can have when they're ambitious about performing, such as I am.
Mm. And was it some of a shock in a way when you started doing stunts? Because obviously we had something in our mind that stunts are like this. And when you do it, perform it in real life, there's a night and day difference sometimes, especially for me. Was it the same for you?
Well, in so I think the only bit that's been really frustrating to me is I have been doing acting since I was 7 too, and those worlds are not the same, right? So when I first came here, I wasn't allowed to say that like I liked doing acting if I wanted to do any kind of stunts. And I wasn't allowed to say I loved, stunts if I wanted to do any kind of acting. So it was bizarre having to keep those things separate. Thankfully, those ideologies have evolved into people being more open-minded about performers being good at multiple things. And also, I just stopped caring as much about what people thought, and I'm just very freeform with it now. But I thoroughly enjoy of doing both of those things, and I don't like doing all of each of them, if that makes sense. So there are all these different specialties within each of those job descriptions. Like I could care less about getting lit on fire, or uh, I haven't learned to do like driving stunts or anything yet. So I focus more on fighting and weaponry since I've been doing that since I was a kid. So in stunts, I'm likely to say no to some jobs if they're not the type that I like. So I won't work a lot of kinds of stunt things. I enjoy choosing what makes me happy. Like something with nice meaty fight choreography, like long segments of fighting that requires technical fighting, or like dirty street fighting where I get that like fun action and character in it. And it's almost like a partner dance, like fight dancing. So I love that. I always say yes to those jobs. And then with acting, I love acting in dark content. Like I don't like comedy. I don't care if I'm ever in a comedy unless it's a very dark comedy. And I love thrillers, psychological thrillers, something like Chris Nolan films too, where it has that intellectual component and, adventurous cinema, uh, and a certain dynamic. So just because I am a performer and like performing doesn't mean I like performing everything or I like doing everything within that, if that makes sense.
Hmm. But when you say, so how much further ahead are you in your acting career? How many, what kind of level are you in right now?
I don't know how to judge things by levels, but like I said, I've been doing acting consistently since I was 7. And I, I've done like a 3-month Meisner intensive out here, which is where I met some friends that did acting. And that's actually how I got my SAG-AFTRA card, was through acting and not through stunts in 2015, I believe, 2016. So yeah, I don't really gauge things by levels. I don't analyze people like that. I just am very present and I live day to day and I do my best and I don't really judge in certain ways. And I don't really ask people about that for myself either. So I'm not really sure how to answer that question.
It's fine. If you don't mind, can you turn your camera horizontal if possible?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah, much better.
Is that better?
You're a bit off center.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes, almost. Uh, you have to move on your left a little.
It's just not a very comfortable seating position for me.
Oh,
I wish I
sorry.
would have had this information up front. One
Oh,
sec.
sorry.
No worries. The couch is just a bit of an odd shape. And it's very bright over here. One second. All right. Better?
Yes, better.
Okay.
Okay. So one more thing that I've talked about with a lot of industry folks, especially STEM people, is that a lot of work in USA is not being outsourced to other countries, Eastern Europe, Australia. Have you seen this is it the same experience for you as well?
That they're not. No, I have friends filming all over the world. Like one of my big brother mentor figures is about to leave to go film in another country and will be gone most of next year working on 2 features or a series and a feature. But yeah, no, I know a lot of people working overseas quite regularly.
I meant to say
England,
like this.
Australia. Pardon?
I meant to say the stunt work is also going outside and not being filmed here, and a lot of stunt people are not getting enough jobs because of that.
I hear you, and I understand that a lot of people like to bitch and complain, and that they're usually the more vocal ones, but I don't resonate with that. There are lots of people still getting to do what they love and working. They just don't like not being low key. And I don't really like to whine and complain about a lack of things. I prefer to focus on creating opportunities. So I'm always busy, even when other people aren't giving me opportunities. But I do feel very thankful to have had some really great opportunities this year. So I feel like a lot of people that are suffering maybe aren't working hard enough or learning skills and improving themselves in the time between jobs, or perhaps just think of life in a different way that seems more unhealthy to me, to be honest.
Or maybe unlucky,
Pardon?
or maybe they're unlucky because, yeah, it's not always like sometimes they don't need, sometimes there's not a lot of, like in a movie, the stuntmen or the body doubles are as much as the people actors
You
in the
know,
movie, right?
it could be quite a few things. It could be that that person's not good at what they do or what they're trying to do, so they're not getting hired. It could be that their, dynamic is not what is needed most often in film. So, for example, like I am an average sized white blonde girl. there might not be a lot of average size white blonde girls that get to do whatever specific skill one might be interested in. So it depends on what types of movies they're filming and what kind of characters they want and need. And there's so many variables, it seems unwise to try to analyze that really. But I do believe that if people just focus on improving themselves and have a good attitude and mindset, that, and they put in the work and the blood, sweat, and tears, that they can get those opportunities. But yeah, I mean, there are lots of variables, like how much they do outreach and how many friends they make that do what they love, how much they work on their skill and improving themselves mentally and physically, what kind of person they are, on top of, what casting directors or stunt coordinators or whatever department is hiring for at that time. But there is still a lot happening in Los Angeles. There is. And, you know, the politicians are avidly discussing improving the film incentive more. I know they just did, but it still needs a lot of work. So I know there are a lot of things in negotiation with that. Uh, but yeah, like I said, I have friends that travel all over the world in the United States to film. But I still see a lot happening here. And we have over 50 productions starting back up in Los Angeles. I think it was like 55 or something soon. I don't know if all of those have action or not, but I think I read an article, I forget what the news source was, but it said that it gave the exact percentage of loss of film and television jobs over the last year. But they were still like 75, it was only like 25% less or something like that than usual. So there were still a lot of jobs available.
Mhm.
But yeah, a lot of people are having a hard time. The economy is really tough right now. A lot of people have moved away from California. Like I said, there are a lot of variables.
Yeah, well, you brought up an interesting point in between. Like, how much do you think the personality and the networking is a factor in getting the jobs
Oh, I mean, it's
and
so
moving
important.
forward?
So important. I mean, I could be working a lot more if I like to schmooze, but I don't like to pacify people or suck up to people. That's just not my personality and it's not fun for me. So I'm a very genuine person and I don't like party a lot with people in the entertainment industry with the intention of like smoozing anyone. So, um, but yeah, I mean, I'm told all the time, like I could be working more if I did that, but I don't care to. I love being myself and being genuine to myself and my heart and mind. And I don't really care who likes me. And I know that I will get the opportunities that are right for me by the people who know me and like me or value my skills. And I'll keep working on my skills and myself to improve between those times while creating my own opportunities. So, um, yeah,
But you said yourself, it is important and it can take you far into your field if you do socialize a
absolutely.
lot and network a lot, no
Absolutely.
matter
Like I
your
worked very
skill.
hard to get like a membership at the Television Academy, for example, and they have wonderful events with groups of peers and whatnot to show up and network with. But there are lots of industry events that people should be attending that are reputable and where people are ambitious, kind, hardworking people are going to meet others to create and collaborate with. So yeah, there are lots of great networking opportunities. I actually recently, well, I have a life coach named Curtis Rivers right now, and he lives in England with his wife, and he has been very helpful in giving me feedback and analysis, um, and guiding me through exercises and pointing out my weak spots so that I can improve upon them. But yeah, he was also speaking on networking, and he works on iconic projects such as Harry Potter and James Bond and all sorts of like biggest things in the world. So I feel very thankful to be getting feedback about these kinds of things. Uh, but yeah, networking is very important. If you're not doing it at all, you're missing out.
But again, if someone like, for example, an introvert like me who is mostly socializing online and everything, it's really hard.
I understand that it's hard for introverts, but you have to do it. It's part of the job description, you know?
Okay, so there's
I mean,
no
you can't if you have like immaculate skill in something, like there, then someone might find you based on your video footage and want to hire you. But people want to see your personality. Like they want to see who you are. They want to see what you're like. even if someone's an introvert, they should still show up. There will be other introverts there feeling the exact same way. You just have to find them. But really, it's about like meditating and breathing and, not being an anxious introvert or something like that. Like everyone should go out and make friends. Like most people are good and kind and no one's trying to hurt each other. But I understand that it can be daunting, especially if you're new or haven't worked on anything big and haven't been really properly like desensitized to certain things because the world is a scary place, and Los Angeles is one of the largest cities in the world with all sorts of people, um, and can be very congested and judgmental. So that makes sense. But regardless of whether or not you like something, you still have to do it. It's still part of the job description if you want to be working.
Interesting. And what new trends are you seeing in the stunt industry and the fight industry?
Pardon?
What new trends are you seeing in the industry right now as far as the stunts and fighting goes?
It's hard to say what trends there are. Everyone has their own styles. So you see these waves and these like things morphing in regards to different fight styles. Like what I focus on and study is very niche. So I'm around the like indie fight martial arts culture a lot because I really love performing choreography. So I don't know how to speak to a lot of other specialties and trends outside of that. Like I said, I haven't focused on like the driving element yet, um, things of that nature. But everyone has their favorite styles and ways of filming things, so it's hard to say.
Okay.
And there's so many genres, and everything is so subjective. I can't answer that.
For example, there's like in the early 2000 when Jason Bourne became famous, there was a lot of shaky cam that was going on. And after that, there was a lot of, for example, in recently in 2010s, there was after John Wick, everyone was really into oneers and all that jazz. Right now, I don't see anything yet, but there might be some ways in like, for example, in Bad Boys for Life, there was this really crazy gunfight with a lot of different camera angles, and the camera was moving all over the place. I thought that would be the new trend. I haven't seen anyone replicate that yet, but yeah, that was I was talking about. But
There are a lot of really great different, fight styles and dynamics and ways people are filming the action these days. So yeah, I mean, I personally prefer people that are integrating a variety of those things, like not just like the Jason Bourne shaky cam style, or not just like the John Wick, style of editing fights. Like, I'm really excited about the new Mortal Kombat movie that's coming out. That should be really creative, and I'm very excited to see how they did the action for that. But I know that the people who work on that are very great at making music with their action, right? Like you have to think of it like a song. You don't just want it to sound monotonous. You want it to be changing styles and textures within one composition to keep interest and intrigue. It's the same with like texture and movement. So I'm excited to see those fight styles where they don't just use one style. It's like a nice mix of a lot of styles that are technical in regards to like maybe they have a huge oneer that is like 20 minutes long or more, like on Extraction 2. Sam Hargrave, a really great action director, um, did a really fantastic job with his oneers on Extraction. So yeah, I mean, I feel like there is something for everyone and a bit of everything, but I do prefer things that incorporate a mixture of styles.
for example, if you think, when you said music and everything, the first thing that came into my mind was like the Jackie Chan style of fight scene because he is a big advocate about like every fight scene also has a rhythm, just like a music scene. Just like a dance sequence, a fight sequence is almost exactly the same, but it's different and you play with each other and everything. I would love to do that. It's it's really hard. Obviously, it takes months for them to just shoot the fight scene, but I would love to do that. What are your projects? What would you like to do if you had enough resources and everything?
I would like to say I've really been enjoying watching Jackie Chan's, not just Jackie Chan. I mean, I've really come to love Yuan Biao as well, and like the Raymond Chow productions and whatnot. But I've been watching a list of films from the 70s and 80s Hong Kong cinema, and they, do have really beautiful, diverse choreography. So many wonders, like a lot of the way that the action is shot and the beats of the action are very different than a lot of other styles that I enjoy and resonate with. But I love watching the technicalities and choreography for inspiration from those things. And people like this other great stunt coordinator, Vlad Rimberg, recommends doing and turns us on to that. So, a lot of the things that we film are based on iconic cinema from decades ago. And it's important to draw inspiration from the OGs and not just modern day content.
Mm. Yeah, mainly about okay, the fight scenes that I really love for some unknown reason is the Drunken Master 2 and Who Am I? Have you seen those?
I actually have not seen those two.
Oh wow. I would love to share the links of those. It's really good. It's
Oh,
really
sure. Yeah.
good.
I'm so open to recommendations. That would be appreciated.
Yes. So it's more like if I'm hearing it like wide angle, not a lot of movement of the camera, and a lot of not elements, but like light of fighting in camera without any cuts. That's your loving lately, right?
No, I'm not saying that I love the way it's shot. I'm saying that I appreciate and enjoy a lot of the choreography because it's very creative and versatile.
Hmm.
I
It's
find
much
the way
more.
that they were shot in general, overall, a bit boring, especially since we have all the advances in technology and modern day uh, resources that they didn't have then in China. But I do love the choreography and the performers are grand to study. And
Hmm.
some of it is filmed in great ways, but now we have evolved as humans and have opportunities to make even more cool stuff. So I prefer to focus on emulating things like the performing elements and the like some shots, like respectable oneers, where you can see the move from start to finish and how good they are at performing a segment, right?
Hmm. Yeah, but like the extraction first came to my mind, but it's still not an actual wonder because again they did. The mist, the one wonder that is like true and exact wonder is from Old Boy, if I'm not wrong, and the
The
Daredevil.
original Old Boy, the Korean,
Yes,
the first,
yes, the Korean one. I watched that movie. I loved it.
I should
And
rewatch
this,
that. It was great. Yeah.
yeah, and also the Daredevil series, the first season in the hallway
Oh yeah,
fights.
I really enjoyed the first Daredevil. Yeah.
Yeah, and also I'm not sure if it was in the third one. Yeah, the second and the third season, the oneers were not the true oneers. They were hidden cuts in there. So yeah. So do you like oneers though, right?
Of course.
Okay, what is it about that fascinates you in a way?
I wouldn't say anything fascinates me like that, but I do respect when people can perform in oneers well, where they look technically great and are doing grand performing throughout. So I think that it's more about highlighting the performer doing a longer sequence without taking breaks, um, and getting to showcase that skill from beginning to end versus using quick cuts where the editor who might cut the action of, someone going into a 30 beat fight sequence and cutting after like two beats, then showing another angle of another beat, and then cutting and showing another angle of another beat. Like that's its own style in and of itself, but you don't really know how skilled the performer is and how many takes they had to do that. And if they really are good at what they're doing and have it dialed in. A lot of that isn't always because the performer is not good. Sometimes the person who's shooting the action doesn't know what the fuck they're doing and isn't graceful and isn't good with it, and that reads. And sometimes it's not that, but it's the editor's fault. Sometimes the editor doesn't know how to edit action. Like that's a very specific thing in and of itself, and they should be using people that are accustomed to shooting action to edit the action, and even consult the stunt department or have their editor do that, because stunt departments are trained in um, well, not all of them, but the ones that are my favorite are also trained in shooting and editing, pre-visualizations to run by the director to show them exactly what they have in mind, and cutting those in, even adding VFX to give a demo of what they want the sequence to look like and how they recommend editing it. And I feel like that's what should be done in this day and age with the action. Um, and people like Michael Lair, who also worked on Extraction, and Mortal Kombat and The Brother's Son, like a lot of really great projects, does. And that really inspires me to try to work on being better in all of those ways as well, and practicing more in my downtime. We usually create practice fights. The performers that I'm around as my colleagues will do fight practices, practice fights, fight recreations, to not only work on our skills, but get the reps in and continue doing what we love between jobs too,
Hmm.
versus the people that just sit around and do literally nothing.
That's funny you brought this up because I was literally yesterday or day before yesterday. Yesterday or day before yesterday, I was interviewing one guest. He's a mocap stunt performer and also as also a live action so stunt performer, if that makes sense. And he said the exact opposite thing. He said that if you just have to be healthy and be zen about it, and you don't have to overdo your body and train like an athlete because you've been told to double right to perform the stunt in camera. As long as it looks good in camera, you don't have to do anything about that. And he said, and I saw his work and he's amazing. And he said I'd never work out more than 3 days a week. So
Well, it's
that's
so subjective. It really is. I mean, then you have like people like Travis Wong, who's one of the most successful stunt coordinators in the entire world, working on some of the greatest stuff as well. He just did that movie, Him, um, which was so beautiful and artistic and cinematic, and so well done. But he says, he's directly said it's your responsibility to train every day as a performer or do things for your career every day. So yeah, it's subjective. But I've been around other people um, who have worked on like Top Gun, and that guy, he was like, you need to stop training every day. Like you already know what you're doing. No one needs to train all the time. And he had the mentality of the person you were just referencing. So everyone has their own path and story. And I really don't think there's a wrong way. I do believe that the universe, like in The Alchemist that Paulo Coelho um, discusses, the universe kind of conspires to like help your dreams come true if you're doing it right. So I don't think that people need to force themselves. I think that people really should just work on being happy internally and doing what gives them their inner peace and feels right to them, and keep moving forward, making positive decisions for themselves and their career with good intentions toward others, and things will work out. And if they don't, maybe they don't love it, or they are, have a different purpose or should be doing something else and aren't listening to their intuition. I don't know.
the crash for what martial arts do you know?
I've cross trained over 6 different styles of martial arts. I started in one Korean based Taekwondo, and I have a second-degree black belt in that. I also trained under Master Simon Ree, getting a purple belt. He was in Best of the Best. He and his brother Philip are iconic in the martial arts film world, and have a really wonderful family underneath them as well, that are all very hardworking and respectable martial artists in film and television, and just in the martial arts world themselves. But I only have a purple belt under him. I would like to get a black belt in his school, but I do so many styles of martial arts that I'll be doing it for a lifetime. And I just haven't progressed that far or trained with him in a few years. I've been more focused on jujitsu and Muay Thai kickboxing for the last handful of years. And then I also meet with friends to do Filipino martial arts in several systems. Like I'd still like to go back to Groden and Asanto Academy in Marina Del Rey. I love training there. But one only has so much energy and bandwidth per day, right? uh, but yeah, so I cross train all kinds of stuff, and then I'll meet with friends who, do different Chinese styles. I mean, I met with Travis Wong's mother teaches the White Lotus Kung Fu system, and I did a few Kung Fu, well, Qigong classes with her, like seminars earlier this year. So we'll performers, if they love what they're doing, will generally fill in and cross train, kind of like what Bruce Lee said with take what is useful, discard what is not, and add what is uniquely your own. So I prefer to do that instead of just do one style. But it doesn't, yeah.
You mentioned weaponry because correct me if I'm wrong, it's a different style apart from what you learn from. It's most more when you're learning weaponry, it's a different style, if I'm not wrong.
No, I mean, everyone has a different style of weaponry, and there are different weapons used within each separate martial arts culture. So it depends on what you're referring to. But for example, I mean, I learned like nunchucks and bow staff for what I focused on in my first style of Taekwondo. And in Filipino martial arts, knife and stick fighting, like I prefer a very specific kind of knife length and type. Versus other things. And then within those systems of Filipino martial arts, like I prefer to focus on like some things with certain weapons over others. Everyone's got their own thing, right? Like I never had interest in commas, for example, and some people love those. Um, and additionally, in when I'm doing fight choreography, is it is like partner dancing. It's not like I'm using those weapons or performing those moves for that fight choreography sequence like I would if I was fighting someone in the street. But I do like to train both of those things separately. So often when I'm at open gym working on my own stuff, I will not only train what is technically correct for street fighting, but I will also train what is technically correct for performing for film and television. They are completely different arts.
Do you do gunplay or no?
I did just buy my first gun. I've shot guns my whole life, a wide spread of them. And I have also just signed up for some more tactical training that's coming up. But yes, I enjoy playing with guns very much.
What about in the movies? Do you perform stunts related to guns or gunfights in the movie?
I have. I've gotten to use some guns in those types of things, but yeah. Also, I hate to rush you. I've already gone way past when I said I was available, and I have a lot to do this afternoon. I'm actually going to this. Chris J. Alex is having a um, great performer, actor, and fighter as well. Is having an action film showcase this afternoon called the Iron Crew Battle, and they have great guest judges. Like last year, their inaugural year had Phil Silvera and Wayne Douglas, like huge people in the action world. Speaking of Daredevil and some of the other most popular films and television shows on the planet, there to judge. And Amy Johnson, she's a wonderful female performer and martial artist, but very talented, like fun indie subculture action world contest with a lot of fighters and martial artists in film and television this afternoon. So I'm excited to go to that. I know that Daniel Stevens, who's Hugh Jackman's stunt double for Wolverine, is going to be there as one of the judges, and a lot of other fabulous people. There's so much love and respect in the indie fight world um, from people that enjoy and appreciate the technicalities and training all the time with that ambition, like the late Dennis Rule, who just passed away last year, and a lot of people he was around, and Eric Jacobus, who created like a feature film with absolutely no budget called Contour that everyone should watch. Like just Google it. It's amazing.
Eric, it was Eric who said that word, and I did. I
Oh,
did. It was Eric who I interviewed yesterday or day before yesterday,
oh,
and
very
he
cool.
was caught talking about contour, so it was fun. You know him too.
It's really, I mean, they have really great stuff. And there's so much respect that when someone makes a beautiful indie project, everyone kind of sends it around or they're like, you need to sit down and watch this. Like people really do get inspired by each other. It's really beautiful.
Any future projects that you want to mention here?
My passion project list is over 100 deep. So I was actually just organizing it on the plane ride back from Thanksgiving. So I have like so many sequences of fight choreography I've made on my phone. I have so many like recreations. I have like one thing left in post production that needs VFX. I've been really thankful to be busy with a lot of auditions in the last few weeks. Um, and I have some other locations I'm trying to scout for filming a few other passion projects on my end that I'm producing. Um, but yeah,
Okay.
I always have a lot going on and I'm always training constantly outside of that. So
Okay, this is the main question that I always ask someone, and then this is basically the point of the whole podcast. Anyone who's listening to you right now, who's young and want to step into this industry, what would be uh, Talon's advice for them?
I mean, get the reps in. A lot of it's about repetition, like film videos, show up. You're very out of sight, out of mind. So, like, post things as long as it's good. Reach out to people, make friends. People are generally happy to answer your questions. So, find your favorite movies and TV shows, find out who your favorite performers are in that, and literally just send them a message, even on social media. Say, hey, do you mind if I send you my stuff? Don't just drop a lot of clips in if you're editing a reel for yourself. Like, send it to someone that you respect and look up to, not like a million people, because you're never going to please or be able to integrate, like 10 different people's opinions, or it's just going to be endless and never get done. But pick one or two of your favorites, model it after what they're doing, post it, show up for seminars and training, like joining on movement. Jam has a cinematic martial arts classes and seminars for film and television that are not only great for networking in a healthy environment, which can be great for introverts, but also will give you more skills to practice and rep and show up at open gym, make friends, like ask people to do these practice fights with you. But you really have to put yourself out there and be consistent and not give up. But it does take a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. And you really do have to love it. Like if you don't, you won't get anything.
Hmm. It was an amazing conversation, and thank you for giving me your time. Hopefully, I will talk to you soon for a panel of stunt people. And thank you very much. And let me know if you have any questions or concerns about it.
Absolutely. Thank you for the interview, Abby. I appreciate you, and I hope you have a really lovely afternoon.
Yes, and
Please, 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 I'm begging you. Please. I'm desperate. I don't know what to do. Please subscribe. Like, comment, and subscribe. Subscribe for more content.
Subscribe to my channel.